What's wrong with you people?
Welcome to Not Another Baptist Podcast. And if I sound bad right now, it's because I am. The Mormons next door are mowing their dead grass that is as dead as their prophet. But we are here today and glad to be sponsored by swbts. And if you're looking for theological education that includes both academic challenge and hands-on ministry experience, then might I suggest Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. Wherever God calls, Southwestern Seminary wants to help you get there. And the best way to experience swbts is to attend its spring preview day on March 31st. See firsthand all that Southwestern Seminary has to offer, and during your visit, you will tour the campus, speak with faculty members, chat with fellow students, and experience the unique campus community of Southwestern Seminary. Register today at swbts.edu/preview. And now that we have immediately alienated all of the Mormon listeners to this podcast, how are you doing, Kyle?
Matt, I'm wonderful. I've been off all this week, and while our Christmas break is drawing to a way too soon of a close, it's been a good couple of weeks. And so lots of, as you found out this morning when you tried to text me to record earlier this morning, we've had some late nights watching movies, which means we've had some mornings sleeping in. And it's great to have teenagers because Michelle and I think got up about 9:15 this morning, which I know you think is, half your day is gone by then, but our teenagers were still in bed for another hour, and it's been fantastic. So next week when school starts back is going to slap very, very difficultly, very hard.
I bet. Yeah, it's a rude awakening. Rebecca and I still will phase the girls back into the school schedule and start inching up their bedtime, and then also inching up their go to or wake up time, and so that it's not like from 9:30 a.m. or 10. That's about this. Our latest will sleep to 9:30 if everything's quiet, there's no noise. But we don't have any real true late sleepers. But it is still very difficult to get them up at 5:55 or 6 for school. So, Kyle, my calendar tells me that this is going to go live on New Year's Adam. Why is it called New Year's Adam? Because Adam came before Eve. This goes live on December 30th, and so you are probably thinking about New Year's resolutions. Or you might be in that camp that say those are for people that weren't awesome enough last year. Whichever camp you are, we do have 4 R's for you to consider to weave into your New Year's resolution. Maybe you want to drop some weight. Maybe you want to read 72 books a year. Maybe you want to fly the ocean blue. I don't know what your New Year's resolution is, but these are 4 things that you should probably consider incorporating in your New Year's resolutions because 1, they're easy, 2, they're important, and 3, they are alliterated. Kyle, number 1, and I would put walk there because walk or run, but we're going with R's, so run, and specifically some exercise, right? In other words, you just need to move. In the new year, resolve to move a little, right? Every doctor you talk to, no matter what wacko science they may believe, whoever else, they're going to say, you need to have 15, 30, 45, an hour worth of exercise every day. You may not have an hour worth of time in your very busy schedule, but you need to just move a little. And so maybe start off the year and say, hey, each day, I'm going to go and walk the block once or twice, walk the neighborhood once or twice, build up a little, carve a little time. But whatever you do, resolve in the new year to run, to walk, to exercise, to move every single day. A 30-minute walk does wonders. 1, for your health, also to clear your mind, let you think a little, pray a little, meet your neighbors for crying out loud. All of that kind of stuff. Kyle, why might it be helppful to incorporate some running, some walking, some moving into a New Year's resolution?
Yeah, well, to start off with, I mean, we think our audience is primarily pastors. Um, and if I can paint with a broad brush here, pastors are not typically known for their physical health.
No, we are not.
um, so and I mean, there's all kinds of effects of being overweight, of not eating well, um, and so for me, I've actually started a workout program this last week. I'm doing Insanity. If you've ever done Insanity, the name is appropriate. It's rough. I'm doing Insanity Max 30, which I convinced myself would be easier than 45 minutes. I can only do 30, and it's still killing me. I'm having to modify because Matt, I've learned that in the last 10 years or so, especially. Things have happened to my body, and things don't move as easily as they did 10 years ago, and I'm not excited about that. So, as I approach 2023, Michelle and I both turn 40 this next year, and so it's just kind of a thing we want to get ourselves into shape for as we're in halftime, I guess, kind of the expected life, normal life expectancy. And yeah, so I mean, as you said, just getting out, exercising, doing something gets endorphins, make you feel better, make you happier. I mean, the benefits of just exercising, like you said, even if it's a walk, it clears your mind. It will break up monotony. It will help your body to recharge. And there's all kinds of benefits to it. So don't do what you can. Like you said, if it's a 30-minute walk, and I mean, if you're in a place where it's blistering cold and being outside is not a reality, go walk around your church building for 30 minutes. But just exercising will make a world of difference. Getting away from your desk, it'll help you clear your mind, and I think in a lot of ways, you're stuck on sermon prep. You're stuck dealing with a church member and you don't know what the next step is. Take a 30-minute walk. You might be surprised the clarity that comes back when you re-engage with whatever the situation is that you're dealing with.
Yeah, when I'm having maybe a bad day, maybe just kind of spiritually down a little or emotionally down, mentally down, taxed, all of that. And then this is going to lead into the other thing. But usually I could be a glass of water in about a 15-minute brisk walk around the church or around my neighborhood away from a much better outlook on the
Yep.
day. And
And
so just move a little, just set a goal to move a little in the new
yeah.
year.
And alongside with that, I would say get outside as much as possible. The vitamin D that comes from the sun really helps. And I mean, again, if it's blistering cold, you may have some days where you can't do that, but as often as possible, get some sunlight because that makes a big difference too.
Yeah. And number two, because sometimes you are just one nap away from a much better day. Number
Yes.
two is to rest. And with this, we've talked about this before. You need to carve in rest and rhythms of relaxation in your everyday weeks, right? Every week, every month, every year. And so things maybe weekly, your weekly Sabbath, maybe times just to uncharge, sort of retreat a little bit each month, and then get away every year. And so that may be more difficult to do. Maybe you're not financially able to do the big old, I don't know, Disney World. That's not exactly relaxing anyway, but
Yeah, no, not quite.
whatever it might be, you can probably at least pull away and find a ministry. There's many ministries out there that have getaways for pastors and so forth. Mayhill Baptist was one of those. We
Yeah.
had pastors there almost year around for that. But if your church gives you a vacation, take it. If they don't, message us, and we will call the chairman of your deacons and tell him to give you a vacation. And then he might fire you. That's not our fault, but we're going to tell him.
And then you'll get some rest. So there you go.
So take your vacation, take a nap,
Yep.
build in some margin in your schedule. And we've talked, I don't think we need to dig into this a whole lot because we've talked about this a lot on the podcast. Guys, I get it. We're all hardworking. We're leading We're spinning so many hats at our churches. And if we stop doing one thing, everything's going to fall apart. That's how we feel sometimes. But one of the best things you can do spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically is take a nap. Second to it is take a vacation. Number 3 is kind of with that, recreate. Recreation, hobby, golf, church softball. Don't do that. There's nothing joyful about that. That's testing your sanctification. Why is recreation important? A hobby, something to do for fun.
Yeah, it's one of those things that helps you recharge as well. And we're going to talk about reading in the next one. One of my hobbies is reading, and I mean, that helps me to recharge. Picking up a good fiction book, but find something, and again, some of these can overlap. Maybe running is your recreation. Awesome, do that. Taking a walk, taking a walk with your wife, that can be a way that you recreate. But find a hobby. Find something that you enjoy. It doesn't have to take up a ton of time. In fact, if a hobby begins to take up too much time, that will be detrimental in a whole nother way. But find something to do.
Absolutely. And then number 4, of course, we touched on it. Read.
Yep.
Read. Pastor. So I'm going to talk specifically to the pastor here. You do your sermon prep. You hopefully read the Bible for that. You read some commentaries for that. But this isn't what we're talking about.
No.
That's just part of your job. You need to read God's word for your own benefit, not just for sermon prep. So take some time in the new year to read the Bible. Now, I have been the guy that does the 90. I did the 90-day in the Word deal over and over and over. Just read. I'm just digging into it, never really diving in. I got the CSB. They're no longer sponsors of ours, but we still love it.
Yep.
The CSB Chronological Study Bible or something like that. And I absolutely love it. I'm about
Outstanding.
I think, 3 weeks in now because I'm one of those that, hey, if you've got a New Year's resolution and it's the thing you want to do, you might as well go ahead and do it. And because there's something going to happen on New Year's Day, and it happens to fall on Sunday this year. So your big plan to go start your couch to 5K is going to run flat into the Lord's Day. So all that kind of stuff. I'm just one of the guys that just go ahead and start doing it. So I already started the Bible plan with that one. And it's not based on January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or whatever. It's just you start wherever you want. And I love that. And so I'm about 3 weeks in, and I love it. And it kind of breaks up the story of Scripture into different scenes and acts and all of that kind of stuff. And to go through the plan of redemption from creation to his return. And I love it. And so you need to read beyond just your sermon prep reading. And then also read for personal growth and something for fun. If you like to read, I think personal growth is something we should all do. But if you actually like reading, read something for fun. Read some fiction stuff. Pick up, I don't know, like if you're Kyle, Dr. Seuss books. Kyle,
it's funny.
This is your cup of tea. I read a lot, but I don't post all my books and everything. So tell us why this matters.
Yeah, reading for fun, it much like walking, it helps get you, it helps just kind of clear your mind. And so I'm a big John Grisham fan. Love everything I've read from John Grisham. In fact, I'm finishing up a book this year, in the last couple of days of this year that I've read of his. And read, biographies. If you find something that you really enjoy, my favorite book that I read in 2022 is called The Blood of Heroes. It was about the Alamo. I'm a reader. I like different genres. I read 40 books this year. I've read as high as 50. I think 40 is kind of where I'm settling in for my rhythm. For 2023, I have a goal to read a lot of C.S. Lewis because it occurred to me earlier this year. I've read a lot about him, but I need to read more of him. And so I'm going to start and read the Narnia books through all the way. And I'm doing that chronologically according to the story, not according to publication date. So send your angry emails. I'll be looking for those. But yeah, just find something that you enjoy reading. I recommend John Grisham. He's an easy read. He's enjoyable. But again, I'm a big C.S. Lewis fan. If you're into fantasy, Tolkien, Andrew Peterson's Wingfeather Saga is great, and there's a free miniseries they're doing on that on the free Angel app, and you can also watch The Chosen on there. That's a whole nother that's a whole nother topic for another podcast. But read. You don't have to read fast. You don't have to set a goal of 40 books. Maybe start out with a book a month. Set out to read 12 books this year, and just go from there. And don't be afraid to test different things. Find something that you enjoy. Not necessarily, as you mentioned, do some stuff for personal growth, but not every single book has to be ministry related. You can just pick some stuff to read for no other reason than it's fun, and it helps to clear your mind and take your brain off of ministry related things for just a little while, a few minutes a day. And yeah, I love books. If you've ever seen pictures, I post what I'm reading all the time. I like to post pictures of my library, either here at the church. So Matt, yeah, I've got a goal, 40 books, lots of C.S. Lewis for 2023. How about you? What do you have any reading plans specifically laid out?
My goal right now regarding books is find a place to store mine. We've sold our building, and I've got about 6,000 to 7,000, and I've got to find a place to put them. And
if you need somewhere to store the Metropolitan if you need somewhere to store the Metropolitan pulpit, I will volunteer for the time being.
It's all yours when I die. But yeah, I thought I was going to die. There's a swarm of bees, probably because of the Mormons next door mowing their grass. But before we get canceled by another cult, Kyle, I was going to add, read some fiction too, because it's amazing. A good storyteller, as you read some of that, that's not just all about leading or all about spiritual growth or spiritual disciplines or blah, blah, blah. All that stuff's great. You need to read it. All that, But it's amazing what a good fiction writer will do also for your preaching with your imagination. Not so much we're not wanting you to just imaginate in the pulpit, but the way you can weave in stories and expressions and so forth. Just try it. I bet you'll like it. I bet you'll find your preaching's better. But Kyle, send us out. Oh, and Happy New Year's, everybody.
Yes, Happy New Year. Yeah, absolutely. Next time, we won't have another episode till next year. Hey, thanks for listening. We do appreciate you. And as always, until next time, may your coffee be as black as night and as bold as the gospel you declare.
What's wrong with you people?